In studio with us now, head coach D'Amico Ryans. Coach, congrats on the conclusion of the regular season. We've got the postseason starting up, but let's start with the victory over Tennessee. And last week we talked about who are you going to play, who are you not going to play, how are you going to handle it. It all handled itself very well throughout the game.
Yes, it did. I'm really proud of our guys for how they handled the week versus Tennessee. I know a lot of, things were in the air of should you rest guys, who's playing, how long are they playing, and man, the way our guys attacked it, it's a lot of weather in play, like, it's going to rain and snow. Like, the way our guys attacked the week, really proud of them. They were really singular focused, just coach, whatever you got, like, let's go. Like, however long you want me to play, I'll play. And when you have that mindset, like, good things happen. So to see our offense go out that first drive and drive down the field, really positive drive, a lot of great things that happened, and to finish with a score there to Nico is, man, couldn't have drawn it up any better than that. And I'm like, okay, guys, that's enough. Right? Get guys out of there. But proud of that. The defense, I thought they did a really nice job as well. Aziz getting back out, getting into action. We're able to get Devin White a little more action this time around. So just overall, guys played well. Different guys were able to show up, make some plays, new guys. Solomon Byrd was able to play in his first NFL game and make a play to help us. Derek Barnett showing up with another touchdown. So it's just a lot. It was a fun day, right? It's an exciting time. A lot of plays being made. A lot of guys getting in on the fun. So I'm really proud of how we finished this season.
Coach, you said it last week, and I wish I knew exactly how you said it, but basically it was get ball right. Like get your fundamentals together. Go back to the basics and get the basics kind of taken care of, tackling, blocking, all those kind of things. But one of the things I talked to Mark about, it felt like, just the offense operationally, just getting up to the line of scrimmage quickly, everybody with a sense of urgency. Did you feel like you kind of got that from the guys yesterday on both sides of the ball, that there was a focus on the discipline, on the fundamentals, on the things that they can definitely handle and work on during a week?
Yeah, I definitely felt that. The fundamentals were right. Like, it just comes to blocking, tackling, like catching the football, like the simple things of football that will never go away.
Right.
And you can never lose sight of them as well, because those are the same things. You don't do them the right way, then they can cause you some harm. So it's always a focus on the fundamentals for me, and we did a great job of that. Particularly with our offensive line, just how, we were targeting right. We picked up the pressures really well. Quarterbacks making the right reads on hot answers versus blitz. Yep. Just all the things that you talk about and you want to see done efficiently, like that was done on Sunday. Now, for me, it's like, can we continue that? Like, we have to continue that. It has to carry over right into the playoffs.
Yep. Well, we know you want to see the guys play with joy, and you saw that when Barnett scores, the bench empties. I know you don't want the penalty, but it all worked out. And also, Joe Mixon and CJ in the huddle at one point, they had the coats on, but they were out there with the guys, and it just seemed like everybody was having a good time. How important is that part of it?
Oh, that's the most important piece to me, because if you're having a good time, I always tell guys, the energy comes from execution. So when you execute, that's when you're going to have energy, and you can have a lot of energy and you're making a lot of plays, and it's going to be this overflow of enthusiasm. And that's what you saw yesterday. Nobody, even I pulled CJ out of the game, pulled Joe out of the game, but they weren't out of the game. They were more into the I was bumping into Joe. Joe's on the field. Like, man, we're going to get a penalty. You need to back up. So he still is out there encouraging our entire offense. CJ's talking today, encouraging. Like, that's what it's about. Will Anderson I got to give him a big fine. He got us a penalty running on the field in street clothes. He look up like, Coach, I'm sorry. No, Will, you got a big fine coming. But just to see those guys and man, how excited they were to see Barnett get in the end zone. Normally I'm running down the sideline, but I couldn't even I see it's just guy after guy, offense, everybody's running. And I was like, wow. Like, that's what I talk about, that special bond, special team, everybody excited to see each other make plays. Like, that was it right there, man. It was fun to watch and fun to see our guys just, man, that love they have for each other. That's the makings of a really great team.
I remember when Georgia and Florida played each other, it was 2007, and Georgia was kind of down in the dumps, and Mark Richt told him, no matter what happens, you go celebrate the touchdown. Yeah. And they had like a 1 yard, no Sean Marino, and the whole entire sideline left. And there are flags everywhere. But Rick said after the season, as they kind of got hot, he's like, that moment kind of turned it around because you saw guys starting to have that joy of playing together with one another, which I thought was really, really cool. When he said that, that's what made me think about that yesterday. But some of you said a little bit earlier, Coach, talking about maintaining the fundamentals and maintaining the discipline. You always want to obviously keep that in sight, but then a playoff game comes and you're like, oh, the playoff game, so much emotion, so much on the line. How do you kind of balance the two of, look, yes, it is important, but you got to make sure that you maintain the stuff that we always talk about day to day. How do you kind of balance that out going into this week?
Yeah, you don't lose sight. For me, I don't make sure guys understand the importance. And I think I don't have to overstate the importance because everybody understands that. And now I lean more into of, okay, what is it truly going to take for us to win the game? Because at the end of that's all we want to do, like, is win the game. Yep. So what is that going to take? And that's when I fall back on, hey, what's our fundamentals? Like, are our eyes right? Are we making the proper reads? We're blocking the right guy, communicating right. So all of those things, that's what it's going to be with the heightened intensity of the game, the speed of the game. Man, are you – and it comes down to when the ball is snapped, like, are you in the right place? Are you doing the right thing? And are you doing it as fast and as physical as you can possibly do it? That's what's going to be the deciding factor in the game. So that's where my focus leans heavily towards that.
A few more things about the Tennessee game. Dameon Pierce playing as well as he did. You always know you can use Dameon Pierce, but that was really nice to see, that long run and all the other plays he made throughout the game. He had the nice return also in the Ravens game before that, so you have an added weapon. I mean, I know you've had him, but it's different as you head into the postseason with that kind of performance.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when you see that type of performance, everybody understands, like, DP has had those performances before, right? You just have to give him more opportunities, and that's where it comes down to. Can we get him the ball more, get him more touches? We see what he can do in the return game. He's really been dynamic, one of the best kick returners in the league with the explosive plays that he's made there. And then out of the backfield, like, how can we balance that to get him more touches, get Joe touches? Just all about whatever it takes. Whoever can touch the football and be explosive, make plays for us, that's what we need to lean into. And DP showed his entire team yesterday that he can still make those plays.
Coach, one of the things that Mark and I talked about earlier this morning was when you have a game like that yesterday and you're trying to keep some guys healthy and, you know, CJ, Joe come out of the game, it was like that defensively as well. You get other guys opportunities to go in that maybe haven't played a whole lot. You mentioned your presser. Solomon Byrd got to play an NFL game for the first time. When you see those young guys go out there and they're doing some good things, what'd you think about that from, you know, Solomon Byrd and some of the guys that we haven't seen a whole lot? Did you feel like they went in and took advantage of their opportunity and did some good things?
Yeah, I did. You know, the one thing – want those guys to always understand, like, it's still ball. Don't make it more than what it is. And I think Solomon, just how he's rushed, it just shows guys, like, all the work you put in throughout the year, like whether it's practice squad or you just going through, you can never lose sight. Don't get caught up in the monotony of just, oh, I'm just practicing. And now, oh, you get the call, now you're up. Like, have you been practicing in a deliberate manner to prepare yourself for that opportunity when the time comes? And I think Solomon is a guy who's, man, he's out there consistent every day, working hard, taking every rep, giving our offense a great look, and it's deliberate. Like, he's making sure he's working on his skills, not just going through the motion, and now he goes in the game and he's able to benefit from all the reps he's gotten versus our first team.
Yeah.
You left the O-line out there a little bit longer than some of the other guys in that group, a new setup for that group. What about that performance?
Yeah, that left those guys out, you know, Titus, Juice getting just more reps at the guard position, put Juice at right guard, you know, still waiting to see what will happen with Shaq. I thought Juice came back and he didn't miss a beat. Like, it was good to have him back. Thought those guys did a really good job of just being firm in the interior of our pocket, and that's where we need the most improvement, especially versus those two guys versus Sweat and Simmons, guys who are big guys, massive guys who can move the pocket. That was a really good test for us there to see, you know, how we can hold up and give our quarterback confidence that he can step up in the pocket. It's only going to be right if our guards and our center can do a great job of having a firm pocket. So one of those guys to get more reps. Blake, young player on the right side, just wanted him to get as many reps as possible. He can't get enough reps. And I like his play style. I saw something different from Blake yesterday, how he was finishing plays, especially in run plays, finishing down, pushing the pile. Like, That's what I want to see. Like, I want to see that nastiness from offensive linemen. That's how I want you to see you finish, and I was encouraging to see Blake finish the way he finished yesterday.
As you were saying that, I got me thinking, yeah, that's swarmy behavior. Like, as I watch guys now, like, I text Mark, like, that guy's swarmy. Like, and that's the adjective I use for him. Okay, Coach, yesterday was the end of the regular season. We're going to get to the playoffs in a second, but let's leave the regular season behind with this right here. Do you have a favorite moment from the 17 weeks of the regular season? Is there one that stands out from the regular season that more than any others?
Favorite moment would have to be the Kaimi kick versus Buffalo.
That was big.
To get the win. That was the big moment, the big one for me.
Okay, good.
What about just being able to win 10 games back-to-back, division championships back-to-back? We're not done yet here, but for where you are right now, that's a good step. You're playing a first-place schedule, and you hit the postseason with double-digit wins.
Yeah, man. I took time yesterday to just, reflect on that. In the first 2 years, being able to, hit your goal. And always the goal is to make the playoffs, right? You do that by winning your division. So to be able to do that 2 seasons in a row, man, I'm thankful, grateful for this, to be in this spot, leading this team. And we're headed in the right direction. A lot of young guys, a lot of talented guys, a lot of special guys who are hard workers. And so I'm happy to do it with the guys we do it with. Thankful for the opportunity that, man, we're in postseason football again. Now, what do we do with it? Right. And that's always my message to our guys. You punch your ticket, you're in. Now, how do you maximize that opportunity? And we have to redeem the time that we have, right? You can count the days or make the days count, right? We have to make each day count. And if we make it count the right way, we'll get more. So, and that'll be our message to our guys. Like, we know we have something special. I feel it in our locker room. I feel the connection. Like, we don't want this to end. So let's keep it going by playing football, playing it with great enthusiasm, with that swarm mentality.
Is it Saturday yet? Because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, but I know you got work to do. So let's start talking about those playoffs and the opponent, the Los Angeles Chargers. I was very deliberate about saying that because I almost said the SD word. Los Angeles Chargers, Coach, you've seen Lamar Jackson. You've seen Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes. You've seen the great quarterbacks this year. Now comes Justin Herbert. Why is he such a great quarterback, and why is he a really good fit for that offense in Los Angeles?
Justin stands out as a great quarterback, different from the other guys. I think a lot of the other guys get highlighted for their ability to move and create, extend plays. Like, Justin does that to a certain extent, but mainly he's, to me, like the old school, like, pocket passers he's trying to identify coverages pre-snap, trying to get you to break your disguise, and he's running the play clock down to the last second so he can figure out the coverage. And he does a really good job of trying to stay in the pocket and make the right throws. He tries to guess the coverage to make sure he's right, to make the right throw. So he's different in that manner of he's not running all over the place like Lamar or Josh Allen, even Mahomes for that. But he stays in the pocket, and he makes some really good decisions with the football. I think that's where he stands out as well. He's not throwing a lot of interceptions. I think he has 3 interceptions on the year. So protecting the football really well. And your quarterback who protects the football, you're always going to put your team in position to be successful. And he's doing that. They run the ball efficiently behind him as well. Good run scheme, good offensive line at the tackle position. Probably their strengths at the tackle with Slater and with Alt, 2 really good tackles there. So they got a core of guys that's right. And the guy that jumps off the tape to me is Lad McConkey. Like, I love watching his tape when he's coming out of Georgia. It's like, man, can we find a way to get this guy? Like, he's electric, and he's proven that in the NFL. Just one of the better route runners in the league that you'll see from that slot position. Really smart player. And him and Justin, they found that connection, and they've been making a ton of plays.
Is efficient the right word for their offense? Because Herbert has thrown for a lot more yards than he's thrown for this year, but you mentioned it. He's not turning the ball over. They run the football. They're trying to be balanced. It's a different approach with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, it's a different approach. You can tell that's that Harbaugh mentality, watching Michigan for the past couple years and back with the 49er. Like, it's methodical. Like, let's take our time. Let's run the football. They'll get in probably a lot of big personnel groupings where they have 2 tight ends, 2 backs on the field, or 3 tight ends, like we're gonna see more big groupings, and basically they're just gonna run the football. They can try to get in manageable third downs, but they take their time, and I think that's where they kind of just lean on people. In that first half, it's kind of close. In the second half, they kind of run away with a couple games like they did here versus the Raiders, just because they just stay with it. They don't make a lot of mistakes, don't make a lot of negative plays, and kind of shorten the game from that standpoint. Their defense, on the flip side, they do such a great job of getting off the field on third down, playing really good in the red zone. So they limit the amount of points. They're the top scoring defense in the NFL. So with that combination of methodically moving the ball downfield offensively, limiting points on defense, that's why they're here in the playoffs.
Coach, when you go to the other side, while you talk about defense for a little bit, I want to focus on Derwin James. Is Derwin the type of player that in certain situations you might treat him like a linebacker, and then there are certain situations where you treat him like a safety, so it maybe changes protection or it changes, who's responsible for what in the run game? Is he a kind of player that you have to do that to?
Yeah, I was watching the tape. Like if he's anywhere close to the box,
you have to account for
we
him.
got to account for him. Like he's blitzing, and they're a lot of times they don't even try to hide it where a guy's trying to show coverage and blitz.
Right.
Like Derwin, literally, he's probably lined up on the line of scrimmage, like in the outside linebacker position, more so than any defensive back that I've seen this year. And it's not only that he's blitzing, but man, he's long, athletic, he's fast, and he's still making plays, even though guys know he's coming. But we have to make sure we account for him. He could be linebacker, safety. Like we just have to make sure we account for him and really protect the edge.
Earlier, Coach, you talked about speed in the postseason. Well, we talk about regular season versus preseason speed. Now you get to the postseason versus regular season. What's the difference in speed?
It ticks up a bit. Yeah, that's what I want to make sure. That's the one thing to make sure our young guys understand. Like it's a different speed. It's a different intensity. Like every play, it's a little more intense, like different from the regular season where you have some games to where, you kind of, not that it's slow ever, but it's just that intensity factor. You just feel it like different. And if you're not ready for it, it can shock you. And I've, seen some young guys, you get in the playoffs and it's like, whoa, like, man, that route is happening a little fast. That run, that old lineman is up on me a little faster. That safety is blitzing a little faster than I expected or than I saw on film. Well, you have to know right now, everything, it's on the line. Like I say, win or go home, it's on the line. So everybody is playing that way. So everybody have to understand, hey, let's roll. They're fast, we're fast too, but let's be on it. I think in the speed also, Mark, is also mentally like, man, how quick are you to see this formation, this route? How quick are you to see Derwin is on the line, make the adjustment? Like mentally it speeds up, physically it speeds up. You have to be prepared for it.
What do you remember from your first playoff game as a player?
Oh, first playoff game. It's at the Bengals.
Yep.
Here, the one thing I remember is the J.J. Watt touchdown. That's the one
right. That's right.
I can never forget that play. Standing behind, seeing J.J. pick the ball off, and seeing, man, I'll never forget how crazy it went in the stands. How crazy our fans went when J.J. made that play. It's the one that it'll stick with me forever, and that's kind of what we need this week, man. Yeah. Like as I talked about, the playoff atmosphere, getting that home game, and why it's important. Like it's important because home field advantage is that crowd noise that you have, especially with a quarterback like Justin who wants to check at the line of scrimmage. He wants to get into the right play. So, man, how loud can our fans be when they're in the huddle, they're coming out of the huddle? Like as much noise as you guys can make, we need it this week for sure.
Coach, we need you waving your arms on the sideline.
Oh, they won't see me. They won't see me.
No, that worked last year. I like that. You getting the crowd going.
Whatever it takes, I'm with it.
What about defensive communication during those loud moments, though? That puts a premium on that. You guys being able to talk to each other about what to do right defensively.
Yeah, you have to. It's tough on a defense when you have that noise, but also it's more tough and more challenging on the offense. So defensively, now we're in a groove where, Azeez back, our communication should be very smooth, and those guys have those nonverbals where they can just look at each other now, or they can give some slight hand signals to make sure we're all on the same page.
If you can get Azeez and Christian in the game at the same time, what does that mean for the defense?
Yeah, getting both of those guys out there, I think with Christian, just his speed, it changes the game with what he's able to do. He's just physically gifted, sideline to sideline player. So if we can get both of them out there with Aziz's physicality, playmaking ability, communication, and he just allows Christian to just run around and make the plays. So it'll be really fun to get both of those guys out there. You know, Christian is still working back. He missed a lot of time, you know, and he's done some really good things for us, and I'm excited to see him go play fast, and make plays sideline to sideline.
Coach, it helped you a little bit this year that you've had some of these. You've had to adapt to some of these short weeks. We're again playing on a Saturday. We did that in December against the Chiefs, and now we're kind of following the same pattern. Does that kind of help you a little bit getting ready for this one? Yeah, I know it's a day, but I know in your world, a day, there's a lot you can do in a day. There's a lot of film you can watch in a day, because I know you're watching the film all the time. Does it help that you've gone through this routine in a sense earlier this month?
I hope it's helped, right? I hope it's helped. We've had a lot of short weeks, a lot of things, you know, schedule-wise. For me, I'm always looking at, like, what's the best for our guys, just trying to look at how I need to tweak things to make sure we just have a great work week, and so they're ready to go on Saturday. So, you know, I'm excited about that piece because we've been here before. It's not like, oh, we got to figure out a short week. No, guys, you know how we operate on a short week. Like, it's going to happen faster. Let's just be dialed in on our preparation. Everybody, like, you don't understand something, make sure we're asking questions, make sure coaches, players are all working together so we can fly around on Saturday.
All right, speaking of working together, we had Rod Wright in here last week, and this D-line group just seems so together. It's almost like an offensive line group. They're so tight. They have the nicknames and everything. You see Barnett making the play. Everybody goes nuts, but it's more than that. What about that group in particular, D'Amico? Because I noticed the camaraderie they have. They really pull for each other. What can you say about that?
Man, special group led by a special guy. Coach Rod, he's been special. He's been a godsend to have here with this group, leading that group. You talk about, I think it's probably for me and what I tell the entire defense or the entire team sometimes when our first team meeting, I was like, we're only going to go as far as our D-line go. Ooh. And I just always put that on the defensive line in front of everyone in the room so they know what I'm expecting a lot out of the defensive line because I know the capabilities that we have in that room. But to see their connection and their bond, like, that's a true brotherhood. That's like it's a mini team all of itself, right? The D-line, because they probably had the most meeting time where they're together, a lot of walkthrough time where they're spending a lot of time together. And those guys have grown tighter, grown closer, and it's a really tight group, special group, and they really love to see, you know, each other do well. Man, they were really pulling for Daniil to get his 100 sack. Everybody they were pulling for it. So it's just those little things, just Daniil helping out Will. I mean, Jerry Hughes, his experience that he's had and what he's able to do and help out that group, even though he hasn't been playing a lot, but he's still been a huge factor in keeping that room together and keeping them tight. So just a special group, man, and led by a special guy. And I'm fortunate. We're all fortunate to have, you know, the group that we have because we're where we are because of what they've done. I think they broke the sack record for the franchise sack record. They broke that record. So doing a lot of great things.
They beat the record they set last year. One more, the Amegy Bank Ask Coach question of the week. Obviously, NFL playoffs, nothing better than that. But other than the NFL playoffs, what postseason do you like as a fan? Basketball, NBA, March Madness, NHL, I don't know, whatever. You can pick whatever you want, Coach.
Oh, man. Playoff baseball gets really interesting.
Okay.
I mean, I like playoff baseball. March Madness is always – it used to be, you know, a big one for me, but now since the teams are so –
yeah, you don't know the players.
Yeah, I don't know. Right? It's all one and done, so I'm off of that now, but what's been exciting here, I mean, it's new for us, but the college football playoff, I will say I've been locked in on some of those bowl games. The way it's been set up, I've enjoyed watching the bowl games, each one really meaning something now that makes everybody tune in a little bit more. So I think that'll continue to get better, and that'll probably be the way I lean.
Awesome. Right. Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy it.